What's up, BMW fans? Today we're going to be replacing the brake rotors, pads, and padwear sensors on an e90 BMW. So behind me is my 2008 328i. This car has a brake light on the dash because the padwear sensors are messed up. So I've already done a preliminary inspection. I've seen at least one of the padwear sensors, the wire is actually broken on it. So I'll show you, they're not that hard to replace, they just clip into the brake pad. But while I'm in there, this car's got 162,000 miles on it, so I'm going to go ahead and replace everything. The rotors and pads I bought online, they're from GT Rotors, so I'll show you those before I put them on and everything. But there's not a whole lot to this job that's any different than any other vehicle. So basically, we'll pop the wheels off, pop the caliper off, pop the rotor off, put it all back together. I'll show you as it works, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the wheel off. So these brakes aren't too unlike any others. We've got two bolts on the back that hold the caliper on. They are 18 millimeters, one there. Let's see, there's one at the bottom right down there as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack those off and then we'll get the caliper off. So we've got these clips on the calipers over here. They kind of fit in like this and then angle back like that. So this top part sits on this part of the caliper. This sits in those holes. You just kind of have to pry at them and pop them off, and then I'll show you as I fit it back in just how it goes back in. To pull the pads out of the caliper, the pad actually on the piston there, you can see it's got clips on it, so you'll just have to kind of pull on that and it will come free, and then you can pull it up and out. My front pad here, I just had to kind of knock back this way with a screwdriver and then lift it out right here. So there's no clips on that front pad. Everything looks decent in here. I'm gonna kind of clean this up and then we'll push the piston back in with a C-clamp. Just got the caliper all cleaned up. Got some brake clean and a stainless brush and just clean everything up. Now I've got a number 6 Allen here to get the bolt that holds the rotor on. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack that off. So I've got one of the old pads in place right here. I set it in backwards and I'm using that as a big flat surface for my C-clamp here to push that piston back in. So we've got our new rotors here. I got these from GT Rotors, front and rear. They come with the clips that you need, pads. I'm gonna put some of this brake grease on the pads, in between the pad and the caliper, just to prevent squeaks. So let's go ahead and get these rotors out. You don't need to clean these because they're coated. They're not covered in oil, so you don't need to put brake clean on them. It's a lot easier to deal with. I'll pull these out of here and show you when we get it on the car. Get this new rotor on. I put some anti-seize on the hub. There was a lot of rust getting the wheel off and getting the rotor off, so I just want to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Before I set my pads in place into the caliper, I'm going to put a little bit of this brake grease. I'm going to get it around the rim here, like this ring that is the piston, and then get it on the underside of this. Basically, you want it anywhere where the caliper's touching the pad. So I just got my new pads in, got the caliper on. All I've got to do is snug back up the bolts on the back, and then we are done on this side, and I'll go do the other side. Now the other side, it's actually the driver's side on these BMWs that has the padwear sensor, so we'll deal with that when we get over there. Before we can finish up on this side, we got to put these clips back on. It helps if you kind of grab them like this and bend them just slightly. Makes life easier getting them back on. There's no great way to do this. A little tap. There's the bottom part. So on the front driver's side, we've got our padwear sensor. You can see this one's in bad shape, seen better days. I'm getting a padwear sensor error because of that. So I'm gonna pull the padwear sensor out right there, flip this up, it's free here, and then there is a kind of a clip right there. We'll get that off, and you can pull it out of the box. The box has clips on the bottom, so flip those up. I'm gonna put my new padwear sensor in. I'm gonna basically just snake it through like it was before. We'll get our connector done. Wait for a click. And then once you get everything in place, we can actually fit the sensor in. It just pushes right into the pad. There we go, and we're done. I'm gonna get it into the top right here. That's all there is to it. So just got done on the driver's side. Now I'm gonna get the wheels back on the front and then we'll go to the back. So with the rear wheel off, we've got two 16s. Kind of hard to see here. There's one and then the other right there. Two 16 millimeters. Go ahead and pull those off and then we'll get the caliper off. To get these clips off, get your screwdriver in here and just give them a pry like that. I'm working on the rotor bolt right now and mine's pretty rusted. These are shallow also, so I'm using a sledge just to kind of tap this in. Definitely don't want to strip this out, so I want to make sure that's seated in there really well. And I also cleaned it off with a steel brush just to get some of that rust off. Just got the rotor off here. It was a little bit stuck to the pads, the shoes for the parking brake, but I just kind of tapped it lightly with the sledgehammer and kind of broke that loose and then got that off. The pads come out of these pretty easily. I'm taking a screwdriver and just kind of tapping that way, but get this one out. It's the same story. I'm gonna kind of work this pad that direction, pop it out. Nothing holds them in place. Before I put the new rotor on, I'm gonna go ahead and deal with the pad wear sensor. You can see this one, where is it? It just like totally sheared off. Let's see. Totally sheared off. So to get to the connector for that pad wear sensor, it sits behind this inner fender liner. So we've got a 10 right here, and then there's a couple 8s. One here, this is one a little bit higher, kind of hard to see right there. And then there's one underneath. Once you get those off, you can pull this back and that'll expose the connector. Got the pad wear sensor back in, got this inner fender liner, very dusty, back in place. I'm gonna wait actually to zip tie this back to the control arm for when I set the actual sensor back in the pad. So next up, I'm gonna get my C-clamp and push that piston back into the caliper. Next thing to do here is get the clips on. So my pads came with new clips. It's a lot easier on the back, just kind of push and they'll lock in like that. Now I'm gonna get the sensor in, pad wear sensor. I just got the pad wear sensor in. If you see right there, it just pushes in, it'll snap in. You'll feel it get secure. And then I put it into place where there are the factory clips, but I also put some zip ties additionally on top. So we are done with this side. We'll go do the other side and then we can take it for a drive and test everything out. Well, I just got back from a drive and everything is nice and quiet. Brakes work just like they should. I don't do anything special to break in the pads and rotors. Just take it easy for a while. Obviously don't do too much hard braking, but they'll seat themselves just fine, so no tricks there. To clear the brake light for the pad wear sensors, you will need like IMPA or Beamer code, some type of scan tool to actually clear that, or the light won't go away. So it doesn't go away just if you replace the pad wear sensors alone. Now, I replaced the pad wear sensors, cleared it, we're good to go. If you have any questions about anything else, just post them up in the comment section. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.